Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to 2024. I'll be host Sam J, and this is Uncut Truth. This one is it's kind of a preemptive, just random thoughts and random conversation that I had with a cousin of mine. But I also want to share this with you all, and I want to talk about this because you know, again, we talk about the uncut truth here, and I want to talk about how out of everything we got going on, out of all the idiocracy, the rhetoric, the the narratives that are being pushed about 50-50 masculinity, femininity, you name it. And it seems that these topics, all those topics that I named, are being pushed across all boards of all societal realms. And I say realms, but I mean like classes of such as whether it's a person that's dirt poor or someone who is filthy rich. The narrative of provision, providing, and what a man's supposed to do, what a woman's supposed to do, 50-50, all of this, everything is, everybody seems to be talking about it, except for, the illuminated, right? The select few. But here is something that nobody is talking about. And I'm so disgusted with it because what it does, it makes me look at, and again, this is the uncut truth here. And I told you guys, 2024 is a time for the separation going forward. Here's a time for separation. We have to begin to separate ourselves from people who just, there's nothing wrong with, again, there's nothing wrong with being, having a voice. We all should have a voice. We all have a voice, and we all should have a voice in our lives, in our dispositions, how we see things. If you're a person that doesn't have a voice, again, that's one of those other sectors. If you're a person that's very silent about everything, you're part of the problem. Let's just be real with that. And that's the uncut truth. If you're one of those people where you silent about everything, you ain't really got nothing to say, you're part of the issue. You really, you play a large role in why a lot of the other things are, a lot of the things that are just so unbecoming of human nature is beginning to look like normalcy. And and so my topic of the day is what I want to talk about is that no one is talking about it, no matter what platform they got, no matter how high they are, no matter the kind of money they make, no matter what their status are, no matter what their status are, no one is talking about the crime against women and children in this country of the United States of America. Now, we can expand this topic to the world, but I think that kind of gets away from my point, and I want to keep it very condensed here because I want to really send a message, and I hope this particular episode right here really reaches the masses, and I hope that it really reaches a lot of people who participate in a lot of the other narratives. No one is talking about the violence that is happening against women and children and the elderly in our country. It is exceedingly, it's rapid, and it's every day, every hour, every 20 minutes. And I don't even think that crime statistics at this point can even really calculate a number of, a statistical number of what's happening every hour and every minute at this point, because everything is happening so fast, random, that it's, you know, when the typical statistics would say that there is a certain crime that's happening every 30 minutes or every hour, I think where we are at right now in this country is that those numbers have dropped significantly, to the point to where there seems to be a murder every minute now, or or every 30 something seconds. So as I multiply that into my topic tonight, and that is, my topic in general is about the crimes, the murders, and and the crimes that are happening against women and children, is despicable. You know, and I know there's a part of it. There's a part of those statistics that if I were to bring up, you know, back in the 80s and 90s, right? There's a part of those statistics that does not include the aspect of collective camaraderie about numbers, right? Which would mean that, back in the 80s, the Midwest wasn't really sharing numbers with the West, right? Or the East, or the South. Numbers weren't really being combined like that. And, you know, they were they were globally, and they were nationally to a degree, but I don't think not at the rate that they are now, right? And so I know those numbers and those statistics kind of have inflated so much, or shall we say deflated, when it comes to, when we talk about time period, that it should be very alarming. Because now, when you talk about a statistic of, in the 80s, a statistic that stated that 5 out of every 10 women will be sexually assaulted, or men will be sexually assaulted, or children will be sexually assaulted, or, you know, I think that number now has risen significantly, especially in the area of murder. Every time I turn on the news now, and again, I know this is national news, so I can just about look at something every minute when it comes to a national level. I get that. But there are just some things as a human species that should not be common. You know, some would say, there are those that would make remarks and say, well, the man, in a perfect world, yeah, you're right. And, they will be, their point would be that the world isn't perfect. But I'm one of those individuals where I don't see, I look at that as someone who sees who is not trustworthy, right? Someone who doesn't trust people and they're not trustworthy themselves because they know their internal thinkings. So for me, I kind of look at the world or the human race as being a lot more godly than that, you know? And because I think that way for reasons of I know what the true essence of the human vessel is about, you know. And also knowing the psychology behind how people are triggered, how people react, knowing and knowing other temperaments such as how low vibrations affect people, how high vibrations affect people, the mood changes that can happen, all the way down to the science of how your environment and how the food you eat and consume and the media you consume can truly, manipulate the mentality. Because I have dissected those things, all of those areas of things into so many pieces, I can tell you this: given where we are in this country, or even the world in general, but more so in this country, that's the most important thing to understand because it's truly your environment, right? Within the United States of America, there are so many different crimes and things like that truly get a slap on the wrist. The unveiling of these things have become that those people who commit those crimes, they know that. A lot of them have done these crimes several times over. They've been in handcuffs for them. They've been in, you know, they've had uh, their time in court for those same and said crimes. And as you do something over and over, you begin to understand the process of the system of it. And as you understand that process, and as you go through it, and as you have a certain particular experience, you become null and void to the accountability of those actions. But what I'm seeing so much now in the news is men murdering women. I just read one just most recently where a tow truck company had towed this car. They had towed the vehicle, and at the tow truck company, they found the body of a 19-year-old black woman in the trunk of the car. And of course, they've arrested a guy. He's 29 fucking years old. Think about that. Now, I know there's so many facets I can go with that. But my main point tonight, because again, I want this to be kind of short, and I'm going to do some more episodes and details. But this is just one case out of about 40 that I've seen in the last 7 days. Similar. Not the same in exact, but the whole point is a woman being murdered or goes missing, and then there's a man who's the prime suspect of it. Now there's other stories as well, you know, but I'm not hitting on those things right now because I want this particular point that I'm about to get into made clear. I see these celebrities, these social media gurus, and so let me be clear what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about those people who are doing things for the aspect of where they're spreading positive knowledge or they're spreading positive aspirations and information and vibrations. Anybody that's doing anything positive deserves to be put on a high pedestal. But what I'm kind of referring to right now is those people who are just kind of like, and I'm gonna say some names, right? Because I want an example to be understood. There are these topics and these interviews that are being had and going on with all of these different major platforms. These platforms that have money to produce millions of followers, thousands of followers, and thousands of viewers. And you have these particular gurus, which we had a few. One that has passed away recently, like the Kevin Samuels of our society, the Charleston Whites, the Patricias, and all of these men and women who spend a lot of their time getting a lot of resources, getting money. Now they're getting money. They're getting paid to do these things for all of these different interviews and idiocracy things that they also participate in on the side, that you may not see mainstream. And there's a twofold to what I'm getting at, and that is there's a place for everything, right? There's a place for everything. And it's like, at this point, we got enough. We got enough of those who want to say what's masculinity and what's femininity. We got enough to say what's 50-50 and what ain't 50-50. We got enough of these. We got enough of that at this point. We got enough of those who want to try to tell people who they not paying bills for, who they should allow to pay their bills, or who they shouldn't let pay their bills, or who they should make pay all their bills. And we got enough of that. We got enough of all of these people who, a lot of them, and again, there's so many facets of these things, of these particular individuals, right? A lot of them got somebody else paying their goddamn bills, but then getting on these platforms and telling women and telling men how they should operate, what they should expect, or what they should expect in their own personal lives, or the experience that they would never have with that person. You get what I'm saying? And again, given my understanding of how society operates, we're gonna have those things, but we got enough of that shit. We got enough of those people at this point. But nobody, I hadn't heard not one person, other than a few people who have their podcast channels or their YouTube channels, and they highlight what's going on, right? They talk about the subjects, like they may reiterate what the news media may have said, like they have a tragic story that happened there, especially like the story that I just mentioned. And you got these other channels, you got some independent channels that may shed light on it, but shedding light on it, so my point, what I'm getting at as well, is that we got enough of that. We got enough people. We already got the news media that's gonna give that story. But then now we got, the independent, you know, spokespeople or people, independent, uh, indie genre, people who want to also share what's going on. And that, again, that's a part of our society, and that I welcome that. But we got enough of it at this point. It's time for the separation. Hey, at some point, there got to be somebody. And let me be the first to say it. Because I think, this video is going to post on YouTube, so I'm going to be a little bit more PG-13 what I'm going to say. And that is, I have no respect for you men who do the things, who have the thoughts that you have about what you want to do to these to women and children in that world and in this country. I have no respect for you. Whatever's going on with you mentally, put yourself in check. If you have a hatred towards women or hatred towards children, stop dealing with them. At this moment right now in your life, if you've been in a bad breakup and you just have a dishonest for women, stop dating for the moment. Be by yourself for a while. Gather your bearings together. Stop getting out here still still trying to put your foot forward and spend your money and all these things, only to continue to get disappointed by whatever actions, whatever going on, because everybody's case is different. Stop putting yourself in a position to be disappointed or let down. Now, once again, you know, I have a self-published book called, and it's an ebook, Loving Yourself Before You Love Others, and How to Love Others as You Love Yourself. My whole purpose of putting that out was in direct correlation to what I'm talking about now to an extent, and that is, before you get into any kind of relationship, you need to learn how to love yourself first. Now I know that's kind of, that's more generalized to a degree, uh, and that's maybe one faucet, one envelope of of how things are transpiring towards how the violence is being escalated. Coming from a level of disappointment, anger, disdain, regret. You know, that's just one point of the things. But there's so many other faucets, so many other triggers. There's so many other things that's leading up to what's happening so rapidly. You got these young women who are in their early teens, barely old enough to drink, and they're losing their lives to dudes who have lived their lives a great extended period of time. Of course, they not, a lot of them ain't 40 or 50, but then a lot of them are 40 and 50 doing the same thing. And again, this ain't race predetermination here, right? This not race specific. It's happening in all races. This is what y'all doing to the women and children in this world. And if you're a man and you call yourself a goddamn man, you walk around here with this badge on your chest about you being a man and not realizing that Your very actions, your very thoughts, what you teach, all of those things is affecting what's going on in your household. Even those thoughts that you don't tell nobody, those thoughts that you wouldn't tell nobody affect how you teach. So yeah, if you got some unsatisfactory thoughts, if you got some thoughts you wouldn't tell your closest friend, that is a sign that you need help. You need to sit down, reevaluate yourself with your Most High, because a therapist may not always able to help you, but you need to reevaluate yourself. That sometimes you need to pause and reset, be a better and different version of yourself. Most importantly, why are y'all putting your hands on these women and these children? And that's domestic abuse, violence, murder, everything. Why are y'all putting y'all hands on these women and children? What's wrong with y'all? And so my just thing I have in particular, is that every celebrity want to chime in on all the other dumb shit, want to talk about everything else. But ain't not nobody said anything about, nobody made a public service announcement. Nobody said, man, I want to take out some time to just talk about the violence that's happening, what I'm seeing. Nobody. I ain't seen one. Now, if y'all know somebody who have done something, send it to me. But as you notice, man, not even your famous comedian, not even your famous author, not even your famous director, not even your famous politician, not man. So yeah, they'll have y'all ass out here voting, have your ass out here with signs, picket, hats, make America great again, who you want to vote for, Joe or Trump, etc., etc. But ain't now one of them people, not none of them, had got on any platform and declared a disdain that they have for the degenerates of this society and the mentality of the people who like to commit murder, like to commit these crimes. Hell, it's crazy because you even got people who support those who commit crimes more than those who condemn. I mean boldly too. You see that in, if one of the most recently things is they just executed a guy in Alabama, and you got all these people, man, that went out there and picketed about they against the death penalty, and it's like there's more people against the death penalty, and you got to understand the concept of this. Now, the world is a lot different from the 60s, 50s, 40s. It's still the same, but it's a lot different when it comes to it's a tad bit different when it comes to how the justice system is kind of operating now, right? There's still an attack on the melanated people. Believe that always, but it is more so it's more diabolical than at this point now, right? There's more added to it, and that is, yeah, there's a position, one may say, well, don't you think that taking someone's life is trying to call yourself God? And you kind of like, okay, I get that argument. I get that statement, because you could say, yeah, yeah, I become your jury, judge, and executioner, and yeah, I'm playing God to a degree when it comes to life as you see it based off of your religion, right? But then there's perception of the uncut truth, and that is this: you took somebody's life, so why don't you think you don't deserve the same? You know, and we have to understand the magnitude of all of the things that's happening. Now, I'm not gonna get off on into other things because I'm long winded, so I can kind of start going to other areas, but I'm trying to stay on key topic here. And my topic is that everybody, and I'm talking about our famous people here. I'm talking about our people who have the monies, means, followers, and you name it. The people who have these things, who have these kind of accolades to where that if they got on a stage and voiced their opinion about something such as this, it could send shockwaves throughout a particular, you know, uh, section of our media. And in many ways, it could impact a small percentage of people. I mean, the point is, we don't even have 1% of it. You know, so it's like, but we got 70 or 80%. They willing to talk about what Cat Williams had to say about on the Shay Shay show. But then, damn, these same people, you follow their content and you listen, like, okay, they talking about this, hey, hey, woo, woo, woo. But none of everything else they do talk about, yo, why are you brothers committing these acts? Why are you women committing these acts against children? Nobody wants to hold anybody accountable. And it's almost as if, and my point is this: if you ain't said shit by now, you a part of it. And that's just the uncut truth. If you hadn't said anything, I don't care who you are, politician, a lawyer, a judge, a celebrity who got millions of followers, especially you podcasters. If you don't have one episode on your podcast at this point, I don't care if you talking about smoking weed all day, every day. At some point, because if you don't, if people ain't in the, look, because if y'all let these motherfuckers out here stay out here and not hold them accountable and killing these people, killing these women and children, you ain't gonna have nobody in 4 or 5 years to support your business, to support what you do. Because everybody gonna be too worried about trying to protect their soul, trying to protect their families, trying to protect their households. They're not gonna have. They're gonna be too stressed out to be doing anything, to be sitting back and relaxing. Nobody's gonna be able to relax at some point. Women can't even be in relationships and have a disagreement and be like, yo, this ain't gonna work without a nigga killing them. And I said what I said because it just doesn't cut the truth. That's what's going on out here. You see these marriages, 15 years, 20 years. Then all of a sudden, woman dead, man died by self-inflicted wound. That's just like the young man who killed his mother, his aunt, his sisters. Who tell y'all something? What that was in Joliet, Illinois. Ain't nobody said nothing about that. But then you could wake up tomorrow, then Breakfast Club, Charlemagne the God got some old bullshit ass, gay ass topic on talking about some old fruity ass shit. You know, look, I love my people. I love everybody. But I'm just saying my point is this is the uncut truth here. And I'm speaking the goddamn truth. Y'all know it. But then you can turn on and then even if they do cover those topics, it's a brief moment. And it's just, oh, I'm just gonna cover the topic because it's a popular topic so that people can listen and chime in on it. There's nothing, there's no message behind it. You remember when we had old TV shows back in the 90s, and they started this uh, programming to where even in the cartoons, even in the beginning or the end, it was usually in the end, and they will always have those public service announcements about what the particular sitcom was about or what the particular episode was about. I think cartoons were the ones that started off first. And mainly, I think a lot of the G.I. Joes did it a lot. We got away from that. And we're at a point now where we've let sexuality run so rampant that now every woman wants to be half naked on the ground. They don't care. No, they don't care who see it. They don't care. They don't care if their grandchild see it. They don't give a fuck. They don't care. You know, and all of these younger women are so dived into it so deeply that they don't realize that it affects their future. That once you reach 40, there's gonna be yeah, you 20 now, 25, yeah, you 30. But by the time you reach 40 or 50, and then you start having a lot of experiences in life, your idealism of who you are is going to change dramatically. And the choices you're making now are going to forever haunt you. But they don't see it because they're not thinking like that. They're not thinking like that because they don't have a sense of morality, a sense of principle, or a sense of self. Meaning that they don't see themselves as being kings and queens or God and goddesses. They don't see the light of lineage. And what's also coming along with that is that there's this glorifying of there's no real respect for what the afterlife may hold or what's after this. And because of that, everybody's in the now. And because so many people are in the now, most of these men, they look at it as, they don't feel there's no repercussions. They don't feel they going to hell. So, hey, I'm going to do what I got to do here now. This is where I feel, and this is how I'm going to act, and this is what I'm going to do about it. No real fear. No real fear. But as we have progressed more and more every year. We're now coming into the age of truth. And that age of truth is there's going to be a lot of truth being revealed in every areas. And what I'm starting with tonight is the area of, if you aren't speaking out about violence, if you're not speaking out about the murders that's happening, if you're not out here trying to support these brothers who are mentally unstable or just unstable because they heartbroken, all this kind of, if you're not out, if you're not supporting your brothers or your sisters, you know because the thing, this relies to the women too, but the point is, if you have the followers, if you have the money and the positions and the things like that that could truly impact our world today and impact our youth and help our youth, and most importantly, you know, talk about something more other than, you know, and I mean this in different facets, right? So, so when I talk about money, right? When I say money, what I mean with that regards is, uh, you know, you have these people who donate money yearly, and they donate them for different causes. And although there are people who sign off on things to go towards domestic violence and housing and stuff like that, there's just not enough being there's way more being spent on sports and sports books and sports facilities than it is these things they're referring to. And these are the most important right now. This is the most urgency in our country right now. You're not, you kill all the women, you're not gonna have no NFL players or no NBA players. Think about that. But the reason the NFL and those circuits don't care about it to that degree is that because they already have a camaraderie going on. So, hey, the next several scholars and athletes that's coming into their game and their genre are going to be relatives of those who have been in the game, sons, daughters, grandchildren, and all of that. All of that's being filled up right now. Coaching staff, all this stuff is being filled up with nieces, nephews, sons, daughters, grandsons, grandchildren, and all that. So they don't really care about the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years because they already got a program set. So that's why you don't see a lot of those athletes who stand on these things and really sit out and talk about them. But for those of us who have general platforms, general positions, especially those in areas where it's like you are, you know, you just do comedy, or you just do something that, but you do have a voice, you have a platform. I need you all to be heavy on telling these men and women that there is help for whatever mental illness they got going on. And everything ain't mental illness. A lot of this shit is just your choice. You made the decision to act that way, act out that way, and that acting that way, acting out that way, that ain't no respect. That ain't, ain't nothing king about that. Ain't nothing queen about that. You know. But most importantly, there's also that position of those same people. A lot of them are loners. They have other people in their life. They have friends, co-workers, family, people that they know. And at some point, they snapped or clicked, or they got to where they got to because of their dissatisfaction with the world around them. And so I'm going to leave you all with this. When it comes to the violence, the short-lived life and abuse, murders, and things like that are happening to our women and children. And these things are being perpetuated by the hands of other individuals, most of them being also men. It's important that we spend some time at some point in our lives as we are communicating with each other, that at some point through all of our idiocracy, you sit down and you have a heart-to-heart conversation with the person you love, the person you're friends with, the person you care about. The person you can live with. At some point of your interaction with that person, there needs to be a conversation about emotions, transparency about what they're going through, about what they're feeling, what they truly feel about a subject, not what the public thinks, but what they feel about it. How does it make them feel? Their emotions. Take yourself out of the picture at some point. With your friends and your family. Take yourself out of the picture at some point. Reach out to somebody today or tomorrow and say, hey man, how you doing? How you feeling? What's going on? And even if they tell you, man, I'm fine, right? Man, everything's good, I'm fine. If you have a spider sense or an inkling that that's something you just want to share with that person, you don't have to be too transparent and say I think what I think you feel. Now that's the wrong thing to say, but what you do is just say, man, let me share something with you. I was watching such and such today. I was taking a look at this article, and I was speaking about this particular thing, hey, it just because, man, just reach out to the people, man, and friends, family, let them know that you're not alone with what you're going through, and whatever you need, I'm here for you. Now, granted, you're not going to solve or prevent every crime, but we're at a pivotal point in our society where there's no more PSAs being put out. Your famous celebrity ain't doing commercials saying stop the violence. They rather talk about 50-50. They rather talk about Brickgate girl. They rather talk about Cardi Russell. They rather talk about everything else except, yo, we love our women. Stop killing our women. And really looking down on men who do these acts. Not holding them accountable, not holding them responsible. Because again, it's one thing way too extreme that we kill each other. But then the fact that we are rapidly doing this against our own women and the children in our lives, is a stopping point for me. You know, all the other bullshit can wait. This is the most important. Y'all niggas need to stop it. Get your ass down here. And I say it that way because it's only the uncut truth. It's all the way you're gonna listen. It's the only way. It's the only thing that's gonna get your emotions to rise. If you feel that way, or if you have these thoughts, it's the only way that's gonna get your emotions to rise. If I say it too politically, it ain't gonna ring no bell. But yeah, get your emotions in check. Get your mind right. And just know, man, you will never be the only human being or species on this damn planet to go what you're going through. Ever. But one thing is for certain is that you can always live another day to be better than what the last day had, if the last day was bad. Come on. Be better than that. Be better than that. But most importantly, your lineage, your namesake, you should mean more to you than anybody else. I'm your host, Sam J. This is the Uncut Truth, Urban Nation.